SCP-5947 Silverfish. Anomaly Class Thaumiel, formerly Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-5947 is currently held in the silver sugar bowl it was recovered from. This house is housed in Chamber 02 at Site 90 alongside 88 decoy bowls, identical save for the lack of a hallmark on the base. Once monthly, a member of D-Class personnel is to enter Chamber 02 and select one of the bowls at random. They will then be instructed to consume its contents, and staff are permitted to use physical force to ensure they comply. In the event they select a bowl not containing SCP-5947, they are to be terminated immediately and their body interred beneath Chamber 02. In the event that they select and consume SCP-5947, they are to be escorted from the chamber and assigned to Project Arades. For information on Arades, please see addendum or consult supplementary materials regarding second site. Once SCP-5947 has passed through their digestive system, the discovery of a cadaver visually matching William Hazen Rogers outside of Site 90 constitutes a containment breach. MTF Alpha Kanun, Argent devotees, should be dispatched to recover the body, as well as any silverware within an 80-meter radius. This silver is to be melted down and recast into decoy bowls, to be filled with non-anomalous sugar, and added to Chamber 02. The cadaver is to be interred beneath the chamber alongside the others. Description: SCP-5947 is the designation for a collection of dried anchovies, one of which, SCP-5947-1, is indestructible. Twice per day at midnight and noon, SCP-5947-1 will split into 2 identical dried anchovies. Addendum: on the order of Director Smith, all personnel assigned to Kanur Site 90 have been integrated into Project Arades. Anomalous objects extraneous to Project Arades have been decommissioned. End of file. Access SCPnet email 1 new message. RE subject new message to S Smith 18 at SCPnet. Site director Silas Smith. Classification level XK4. Employee number 3078. From 05-2 at SCPnet. Overseer 2. Classification OK5 Thaumiel. Employee number 2. Subject SCP-5947.
Dear Director Smith, as of today, the Council voted 1 to 12 to 0 on the issue of dismantling Project Arades. Furthermore, the Council has voted 12 to 1 to 0 to overrule objections from the former Site 90 Ethics Committee, ensuring that your project continues regardless of their past rulings on the matter. It is the majority opinion of the 05 Council that the existence of Project Arades has given the Foundation an advantage in dealing with several major groups of interest, not the least of which being GoIs 004C and 023. By dominating the concept of silver, the Foundation has forced them to abandon significant holdings and resources, putting us in a better position to negotiate with or combat such threats. On an official basis, I would like to apologize for any inconvenience these proceedings have caused you. On an unofficial basis, I have nothing to say except I'd be impressed if I wasn't furious.
05-2. Take notice. As directed, I've collected some relevant documentation below, all of which is within your security clearance, of course. Hope it helps, Director Smith. And thank you for your service. Silverfish.aic. To S. Smith 18 at SCPnet. Agent Silas Smith. Classification level 15947. Employee number 5994. From A. Reagan 2 at SkipNet. Site Director Anakin Reagan. Classification 4S90. Employee number 378. Subject Transfer. Mr. Smith. First, welcome to Kenora Site 90. It's not as glamorous as field work, but you're less likely to lose another foot, and hey, we have on-site therapists if you need someone to talk to. Second, you've been assigned to SCP-5947 project. It's not much, but I suppose that's the point. Hopefully I can give you an environment to recuperate while you work on your doctorate. Third, I'm sorry. I wish we could have glassed those mechanites, but no use crying over spilled milk. Godspeed. Dr. Anakin Reagan, Site Director of Kenora Site 90. Notice from the Foundation Records and Information Security Administration. You are reading an archived copy of SCP-5947's documentation. SCP-5947's up-to-date documentation can be found here. Ronald Emmerich, Director of RESA. Item number SCP-5947, Silverfish. Object class, Euclid. Site responsible, Kenora Site 90. Director, Dr. Anakin Reagan. Research Head, Technician Silas Smith. Assigned Task Force, non-applicable. Level 1 Security. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-5947 is to be stored in a refrigerated locker in Chamber O2 of Site 90. Each week, containment personnel are to identify and isolate SCP-5947-1 from the rest of SCP-5947. Remaining instances of SCP-5947 are to be ground into a slurry and used or disposed of as appropriate. Description: SCP-5947 is a designation for a collection of dried anchovies, one of which, SCP-5947-1, is indestructible. Twice per day at midnight and noon, all intact instances of SCP-5947 will split into 2 identical dried anchovies. History: SCP-5947 was acquired in an anomalous item exchange conducted with Group of Interest 023, Marshall, Carter and Darke Limited, under the Burnett Accord. In addition to items and resources negotiated under the Burnett Accord, Person of Interest MCD-003, Percival Darke, had included SCP-5947 within a silver sugar plate as a part of his 3 contractually allotted indignities. As per protocol regarding unexpected gifts from non-partnered groups of interest, SCP-5947 was transferred to Kenora Site 90, an isolated containment site dedicated to containing mundane and anomalous espionage. Following a round of preliminary testing, SCP-5947's anomalous properties were successfully identified, and containment procedures were finalized on the 26th of May 1967. End of file. In accordance to the Burnett Accord, the following is a receipt of the 3 contractually obligated indignities bestowed upon the SCP Foundation. The contents of this receipt, with regards to the text, are not legally binding and cannot be used in further negotiations or legalistic thaumaturgical rituals. The items are as follows, as well as justifications for such indignities. 1. Obligation to document this receipt in your official database. Such an indignity is intended as backlash against the heavy doctoring of associated documentation for anomalous objects transferred to Marshall, Carter, and Darke's possession. 1. Heirloom sugar bowl, to be used only to contain the 3rd indignity. Such an indignity is intended to demonstrate the ease in which Marshall, Carter, and Darke can deploy its wealth against the SCP Foundation. 1. Invulnerable anchovy. To replicate into a series of mundane anchovies at the peak and trough of the sun. Such an obligation is intended as a personal insult to you, specifically Dr. Rochefort, a mockery engineered solely to make your work the tiniest bit harder. I know you don't like anchovies. Not many people do. Find a use for it sooner rather than later. On the Weaponization of Psychoconceptual Humiliation by Dr. Silas Smith. Abstract. This study examined the usage of reverse-engineered beryllium-bronze containment devices, such as those employed by Group of Interest 3088, Church of the Second High-Toth, and SOI-004, the IMET, to weaponize both abstract concepts and ideas grounded into physical objects. Over a 2-year period, December 8, 1997 to December 6, 1999, such devices were attuned to the concept of a series of 12 cm by 2.8 cm oak blocks painted with the logo of the subordinate group of interest, GOI 952's Only Ironworks logo. Using 3 groups of 1,000 blocks, painted blocks, blocks that would not be painted, and blocks which would be painted after a period of a year, the Foundation would employ each on a monthly rotation as foci for experimental psychoconceptual channeling units. Additionally, every 4th month would see the activation of the channeling units without the use of foci. Agents embedded into GOI 952 would examine trends in gross income and workplace safety. Notice: unidentified figure approaching Kenor Site 90. Director Smith, this is an automated message to inform you that an unidentified figure has been spotted less than 5 kilometers from Site 90's security perimeter. Visual scans suggest 29% probability of a containment breach. Please stand by. 2 SS Smith 18 at SCPnet. Dr. Silas Smith. Classification level 25947. Employee number 5994. From A. Reagan 2 at SCPnet. Site Director Hannigan Reagan. Classification 4S90. Employee number 378. Subject. Congratulations and a heart-to-heart. Dr. Smith, congratulations on receiving your doctorate. I'm skeptical regarding the applications of such a thesis, especially how it pertains to Site 90. Are you feeling all right? It's normal for graduate studies to take a toll on your well-being, but last I saw you, you were unusually stiff is the only word that comes to mind. Take a breather. You're done. Worry about some self-replicating pizza toppings for the time being. Dr. Hannigan Reagan, Site Director of Kenor Site 90. 2. SS Smith at SCPnet. Dr. Silas Smith. Classification level 2 out of 59947. Employee number 5994. From A. Reagan 2 at SCPnet. Site Director Hannigan Reagan. Classification 4S90. Employee number 378. Subject: RE utilization of SCP-5947. Dr. Smith, your request has been received and summarily denied. The schematics you have provided are nearly incomprehensible. Furthermore, the ramifications of such a device's very existence would outweigh whatever good its function may bring to the Foundation. Honestly, I'm worried about you. Most of your free time is spent tilting this particular windmill. I get it, Silas, but it feels like you're attempting to hammer a round peg into a square hole. Site 90 isn't Foundation Overwatch. They deal with the spies. We deal with the cameras. I apologize for the inconvenience. Dr. Hannigan Reagan, Site Director of Kenor Site 90. 2 SS Smith, 18 at SCPnet. Dr. Silas Smith. Classification level 2 out of 5947. Employee number 5994. From A. Reagan 2 at SCPnet. Site Director Anakin Reagan. Classification 4S90. Employee number 378. Subject Utilization of SCP-5947. Dr. Smith, your request has been received and summarily denied. Officially, there is no reason to believe my objections have been adequately addressed. I cannot, in good conscience, approve the project if it's not been meaningfully altered. Unofficially, you're scaring me, Silas. Stop now, before I'm forced to lodge a complaint with Overwatch Command. Dr. Anakin Reagan, Site Director of Kenora Site 90. Open Reagan.avi. To S. Smith 18 at SCPnet. Dr. Silas Smith, Classification Level 4, 5947, Employee Number 5994. From A. Reagan 2 at SCPnet. Site Director Anakin Reagan, Classification 4S90. Employee Number 378. Subject RE, no subject. I don't know how you got that. Your request has been approved. Don't talk to me ever again. Warning, person of interest 000. Spotted near Kenora Site 90. Director Smith. This is an automated message to inform you that person of interest 000, nobody, has been spotted within Site 90's outer security perimeter. Please stand by. With regards to Chamber 02's renovations. So Dr. Smith, let me get this straight. You want 30 sugar bowls scattered across the floor. Not welded, adhered, just scattered. Furthermore, you want me to include a Smith channeler unit scaled large enough to embed itself into Chamber 02's walls while retaining the size of the focus, which will remain buried in the concrete. And you want me to hollow out the area above and beneath Chamber 02. We can do that, sure. It's going to screw the budget, but we can definitely do all that once our BB shipments resolve. I need to make sure I read your letter correctly. I mean, no offense, but handwriting can get lost in translation, and I need to know if you meant all of this. Side note, you all right? You looked very pale and jittery last I saw you, and I haven't gotten an email from you since your doctorate. Did something change with SCP-5947? Jared Morello, Maintenance Director. With regards to Chamber 02's renovations. Well, Arades ran out of space, money, and Director Reagan's patience. After some prep work, it's been found that your realization of Arades is gonna intrude on URA, Unregistered Anomaly, 33721. Moreover, the other researchers aren't too fond of what we already have. It's doing something to the morale, more than just the fact it makes construction noises even on off hours. And again, are you all right? This is all you are talking about. Sometimes it feels like you're an intermediary between me and Arades. I can't even ping your SCPnet account. What's happening? SCP-5947 is just fish, Dr. Smith. No need to complicate it any further. Jared Morello, Maintenance Director. Incident U-3721-B, Reagan Morello. On the 37th of August, 2002, URA 3721 disappeared from containment, and Dr. Anakin Reagan and Jared Morello failed to clock in at their usual times. Security audits indicated that neither had left the premises of Kenora Site 90. A search was initiated, however, no evidence of wrongdoing was discovered. On the 2nd of September 2002, maintenance personnel reported a pungent odor from Chamber 02. Preliminary investigation revealed the presence of parent human viscera in the space below Chamber 02, as well as the shattered remains of URA 3721. Recovery attempts were hindered, however, by architectural quirks in the recently renovated Chamber 02, which provided no means of egress from the space below. Plans to deconstruct Chamber 02 were considered, but ultimately scrapped at the direction of Kenor Site-90 director Silas Smith. Renovation of Chamber 02 is presently set to continue. Warning: Person of Interest 000 attempting to breach inner perimeter. Director Smith, this is an automated message to inform you that Person of Interest 000 has been spotted heading towards the inner security perimeter of Site-90. Please stand by. Relevant excerpts from HMLC Audit S90, January 2003. Chamber 02. Supposedly the containment cell of SCP-5947. Containment topology is not adequately marked. Anomalous objects containment device unsecured on floor. Can be easily moved or opened. Not adequately demarked. Minor psychic compulsion. 7 members of 10-person survey team drawn towards the anomalous object upon entrance. Not adequately noted. Auxiliary containment device is not built to Foundation safety and security regulations. Electronics brought into Chamber 02 experienced severe malfunction when brought near machinery. No diagraphic documentation relevant to the structure. Rancid odor, beyond the necessities of the containment procedures. Chemical hazard. Silver jewelry worn by members of the survey team found likely to be entirely corroded upon egress. Not adequately noted. Major psychic hazard field. Survey team reported feelings of extreme subjugation by an unknown force. Not adequately noted. Survey team incapable of entering the bottom chamber safely. Floor bottom chamber appears to be covered in viscera. Survey team barred from entering the top chamber. Reason: insufficient security clearance. It is presently understood that Chamber 02 is undergoing renovations. We therefore implore Director Smith to contact us upon Chamber 02's completion. Talia Cassell, HML-CL Technician. To S. Divakar at SkipNet, HPCL Supervisor Shotki Divakar, Classification Level RESA 4, Employee Number 4886. From W. Clarkson 2 at SkipNet, Researcher Walter Clarkson, Classification Level 1, 5947. Employee Number 16020. Subject RE regarding maintenance. Hello, and sorry for the first third email in a month. Is there any progress on the Chamber 02 case? Doesn't feel like too much it's been fixed, actually. Feels like it's gotten worse. The smell started to spread outside the chamber proper, and the construction noises aren't getting any quieter. Whatever they're doing when they're not expanding, it's still happening. I also think it's taking some kind of toll on my coworkers. It's been weeks since I saw some of them. Actually, I didn't really notice until I started writing this letter, but I haven't seen too many of our projects either. Another thing, I've been assigned to Chamber 02. Nobody told me anything, but my file permissions were shifted around and the file that used to be SCP-239 has been archived. I tried asking around and I haven't gotten a response. Again, apologies for the repeat message, but I'm beginning to feel powerless, like I'm being watched by a giant. 2. S. Smith 18 at SkipNet, Site Director Silas Smith. Classification Level XK4, Employee Number 378. From P. Woodward at SkipNet. Intern Peyton Woodward. Classification level 0, 5947. Employee number 33E8014. Subject, wrong address. I'm sorry to bother you, Dr. Silas, but I have a few questions if you don't mind. Something wrong with my SkipNet server? I know Site 90 is supposed to be an isolated site, but your email is the only one I can ping. What's that smell? I assume it's fish, but I didn't expect it to smell until I got to the chamber. Did I get the wrong address? This place looks like a factory and I can't find anyone. Thank you for your time, and again, sorry to bother you. Warning, Tenora's site breached by person of interest 000. Director Smith, this is an automated message to inform you that Site 90's premises have been breached by person of interest 000. Nobody. Please stand by. Automated surveillance log. Site 90 Atrium. Automatic notice. Silverfish.aic artificial intelligence construct has logged Dust Atrium to the maintenance master list as an Omega level priority. Person of interest 000 enters through the main ground floor entrance. They briefly vocalize shock before activating a flashlight and taking their first steps into the interior. Person of interest 000 attempts to proceed further into the site, but appears to be distracted by a portion of the Silverfish auxiliary containment unit. Pulling out an electronic device, person of interest 000 places a clamp onto one of the pipes, pausing presumably to take a reading before quickly unclamping from the unit and continuing onward. Person of interest 000 appears to accidentally hit their head on the unit as they make their way out of the atrium. Site 90, first floor south hallways. Automatic notice. Silverfish.aic has logged Dust first floor south hallways to the maintenance master list as an Omega level priority. Person of interest 000 continues through the first floor south hallways. They appear to experience difficulty navigating around the Silverfish auxiliary containment unit. Ignoring the stairwell and administrative offices, person of interest 000 continues down the hallway until they reach the wall-mounted map of the Site 90 complex. They spend several minutes examining the map, occasionally looking away to monitor the hallway. Eventually, person of interest 000 continues along their way. Automatic notice. Silverfish.aic has logged correct map of Site 90 to the maintenance master list as a Theta level priority. Site 90, first floor break room. Automatic notice. Silverfish.aic has logged Dust first floor break room to the maintenance master list as an Omega level priority. Person of interest 000 enters the first floor break room with apparent difficulty, spending several minutes attempting to navigate through a portion of the Silverfish auxiliary containment unit. Once inside the first floor break room, person of interest 000 breaks out their electronic device, taking a picture of the first floor break room, which Silverfish.aic automatically logs. Person of interest 0 suddenly startles, turning towards the general direction of Chamber 02. They attempt to climb the Silverfish auxiliary containment unit. However, the grated ceiling hinders their progress, forcing them to remove a section of the ceiling with a multi-tool. Climbing through the hole in the ceiling, person of interest 000 enters the second floor south hallways. Site 90, second floor south hallways. Automatic notice. Silverfish.aic has logged Dust second floor south hallways to the maintenance master list as an Omega level priority. Emerging onto the second-floor south hallways, person of interest 000 moves to stand before immediately kneeling to retch. Several minutes pass before person of interest 000 collects their bearings, navigating the dense piping of the Silverfish auxiliary containment unit towards Chamber 02. Upon entering Chamber 02, person of interest 000 is immediately drawn to SCP-5947. They do not attempt to survey the rest of Chamber 02 at this time. Person of interest 000 stops approximately 0.5 meters from SCP-5947, bending down to examine it with their mouth and nose covered. Several minutes pass. During this time, person of interest 000 dissects two instances of SCP-5947 and attempts to analyze more through their electronic device. Eventually, person of interest 000 stands up and turns to leave, at which point Director Smith impales them through their midsection. Director Smith drags person of interest 000 back to SCP-5947, forcing their face onto the containment bowl. Person of interest 000 is held there for several minutes until they begin eating SCP-5947 at Director Smith's direction. Eventually, person of interest 000 is able to finish SCP-5947 without gagging. As person of interest 000 has successfully completed SCP-5947's containment ritual, Director Smith drags them towards the iron stairs leading towards the space above Chamber 02. Person of interest 000 briefly struggles against Director Smith, foregoing limp from apparent shock. Director Smith pulls person of interest 000 beyond the threshold and deposits them beneath the Silverfish primary containment unit. In turn, Silverfish comes out of hibernation mode. After reviewing the automated surveillance log, Silverfish measures person of interest 000's neck before proceeding with integration. 2 days later, Silverfish's focal cadaver stirs, indicating successful integration.